activities, group therapy, and also a coping skill that could be utilized by individuals who are managing their mental illness. So it's just to say that art therapy is a valid treatment option and just a coping skill for individuals with bipolar disorder to help them manage their mental illness. This includes clinical assistance for artists with bipolar disorder or perhaps a program to help them balance the two. And as I mentioned earlier, participant B noted times where his art suffered severely because his mental illness wasn't managed. If instances of this complicated relationship can continue to be studied, treatment for bipolar disorder can be discovered and utilized. To note the limitations of my study, participants A and B were both on some form of different antipsychotic medications, which could alter the creative process in the brain, and not knowing what medications A was on, which I highly doubt they were exactly the same dosage and type that participant B were on, so that's a limitation. The self-report and the hand-picked nature of the participants can lead to experimental biases, as well as seeing results that were being sought out. And then the lack of significant results is a limitation, which is similar to the argument that the criticism Schlesinger had against Jameson's research. And she also criticized Jameson for her lack of a control group in her studies, and this study did take that into account by looking at artists with bipolar disorder and artists without. So, directions for future research. Because of the limitations just mentioned, this study does have limited generalizability, and future research could attempt to address this through a more quantitative design. And research involving a neurological study of the brain, comparing the different neurological pathways to address the creative process, could be a direction this could go in the future as well. So lastly, why is this important? One of the biggest problems in treating bipolar disorder is keeping patients on their medications and not stopping them. It is a disorder that has really high rates of suicide, and so in this study, it was seen that despite the potential benefits of manic state on the flight of ideas and creative production, extreme manic state and depressive state only inhibit the creative process. So perhaps an artist knowing that if they range from too high or too low on that spectrum of manic and depressive episodes, they would be motivated to adhere to their treatment, to know that their art wouldn't suffer from that. So that's that. And then one of the examples of a very talented person who ended up committing suicide as a result of her bipolar disorder was Virginia Woolf, the English author and essayist of the 20th century. And she, after completing her work Between the Acts, she was in a severe depressive state and filled her coat pocket with rocks and drowned herself. Artistic even in how she decided to die. So I will share with you a clip of her voice just so you can hear her. This is the only recorded interview of her, so I'd like